Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. And we are talking about the FA Cup quarterfinals and a little bit about the Premier League, because obviously we've got an Arsenal fan here and you all know who he is, Stephen. Today, we are joined also by Chelsea fan, repping out of Madrid right now. Eric, how are you doing? And Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm recovering.
I'm doing good.
Eric's the only one that's happy here today because he got probably the best result out of all three of us, beating... you beat Sheffield United, didn't you, 2-0? I'm right at the end getting that second goal.
It's not for everyone, is it, Matt?
We'll talk about Man United losing 3-1 to Leicester. We will get onto that. I'm still letting it soak in. You know what I mean? It really does hurt right now because we always seem to go out in the quarters or the semis with Ole. But let's talk about the best result today, Chelsea beating Sheffield United. Eric, how did you feel about that result? And what do you think it means for Chelsea going forward?
I think it's an excellent result for one, especially against Sheffield. 2-0 is especially with the lineup that we threw out was very, very good. We didn't throw out our strongest lineup. We didn't go out with a crazy formation. Beating Sheffield 2-0 statistically is good because we've only conceded to Sheffield with it since Sheffield and Southampton, I think, since Thomas Tuchel's taken over. And beating a team and keeping a clean sheet against a team like that, who popped one in us last time, is a massive result going to the next round. And it just keeps momentum going because we've come off a very good week, midweek with Champions League win, and now this. I think that if we keep this going and keep this form up, that we'll be in good shape pretty soon here.
Thank you, Chris, for the shout out there. And thank you also for Charlie. Charlie, if you want to come in as well, because you're in the semi-finals, we'll drop you the link. Actually, Stephen, can you drop Charlie the link for me?
Yeah, I'll drop.
Right. If you want to come in, Charlie, because you're a City fan, you're feeling probably happy right now as well. So yeah, mate, this is good for Chelsea. Tuchel's done very well since coming in. I know we've got our thoughts on Lampard being sacked, and we think it maybe was a bit too soon, but we have to just go with what it is now, mate. I mean, are you happy with how the progress is happened with under Tuchel at Chelsea?
Yeah. What Tuchel's done in his philosophy, especially, like I said, on the defensive end, in terms of just not allowing teams to score, has been fantastic. You just look at the way that he's kind of orchestrated midfield and kept the midfield very, very coordinated, especially when we lose the ball. He makes it, they bounce back on the ball immediately. And he's, like I said, even though Werner isn't necessarily finding the net, he's still just as much of a part of the team as anybody else. And he's just as much of an asset. I mean, he's knocked in, I think, 4 assists in the last 6 games. If I'm not mistaken, or he's up there in the stat with his assist. So it's not like he's getting in and he's not being a team player. He draws penalties. He's getting in there, and I know that the price tag and the demand for that better, goal scorer is there. But I'd say give it time, and under Tuchel, he'll find his feet.
So you've got Man City in the semi-finals, and also shouts out to Charlie, who's just joined as a City fan, obviously. Let's ask then Charlie about that, and we'll get on to Stephen and Arsenal. But Charlie, what are you making of? That's not. Well, we've got to go back Man United, mate. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to have to, aren't I? I'm the host. I've got to handle that. I've got to handle it. It's horrible.
Yeah, at least you've got a point.
I
mean, it's fair. It's a fair point. It is a fair point.
It's a fair point. Exactly, a fair point. Split down. Charlie, how
Oh, God.
Charlie, how are you feeling about this semi-final against Chelsea? What do you reckon going into it?
If we beat Chelsea, we're winning the FA Cup. That's what I think. And I reckon we will beat Chelsea.
Damn.
Wow, very comfortable, very comfortable. I mean, clearly Leicester City have got the best opportunity to get into the final. They got Southampton, haven't they? And
yeah.
I'm pretty sure Chelsea would have probably preferred Southampton. But I guess I mean, I guess everybody probably wanted Chelsea and City in the final, to be fair. So I hope that Southampton can get into the final because they've had one of those years, they've lost 9-0. They've had a good year. They've had a sort of a few bad results here and there, like some big losses.
Interesting year for Southampton. Really
do you think they got a chance against Leicester? Because Leicester are doing so good right now. What do you think, Stephen?
Could do. I think it was a good manager. I know Leicester are very strong, but I mean, we managed to beat them. I know we missed Madison when we did, but we still managed to take it to Leicester at their own ground and beat them there. So if we can do it, why can't Southampton do it?
Fair enough.
Would you agree with that, Eric?
I just think Leicester's probably going to take the crop. I really do. I think out of the teams, even out of the 4 teams, even as a Chelsea fan, I think Leicester's probably going to be the team that wants this trophy the most. I think City's focus is on Champions League this year. I think Chelsea's focus is on qualifying for Champions League next year and just finishing top 4. Now, obviously, everyone wants an FA Cup. It's not a trophy that people aren't gunning for, especially when it gets down to this stage. But it's one of those years that I think Leicester with where they're going, if they don't at least gun for second, then they're probably going to win FA Cup, in my opinion.
So the fact it's the FA Cup. Sorry, I was just going to say it's the FA Cup, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, look, it could be one of those years where City face Southampton and Southampton win it. Like when Wigan won it against City.
Oh, don't remind me.
Oh.
I've hated that Ben Watson ever since that.
I didn't know you were old enough to
Stephen,
remember.
please, mate, be quiet.
Giving him jabs.
Yeah, he has to admit his club's just as old as him.
Well, I've never heard that one before, have I, Stephen?
Same old, isn't it, Charlie? Eh?
Yeah, I hear it every time I'm speaking.
That's right. He comes to my channel, I won't give it to him all the time.
All right. Oh man,
it is what it is, though. Look, I mean, that could happen.
These little subtle digs at each club.
Look, it's the only dig I've got. That is it.
Fair enough.
It was close to like a similar thing, wasn't it? To like when Leicester won the league, Wigan getting relegated and then winning the FA Cup. Like you said, Stephen, anything can happen. Don't put down a club like Southampton. Obviously, they're not the clear favourites to get even to the final, but they could win it. And Ralph is a very good manager, and tactically he could get the best out of Southampton in them 2 games and act like the semi-finals is the final and then get there. But
well, you look at our semi-final and final last season. We weren't the favourites to win that. We weren't. So, yeah.
Would you agree with Chris here? He says can't blame City fans for being confident. Different level compared to the rest.
I've already tweeted about the quadruple, so yeah, I am confident.
I'm holding you to that one.
What do you think it means, Charlie? Then, if City can win the quadruple this year, like is that going to beat the Invincibles and the trebles of Matt?
Our 100 points team's better than the Invincibles anyway.
Oh, get out of here! Come back to me when you come back when you.
He's even laughing at that one.
No, I love this. Well, look, I guess maybe you lot all just watched the game as well. Man United versus Leicester City, and Leicester City winning 3-1. What do you think this means for Man United now and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? He brought on 4 subs in the 60th minute, didn't he? At the same time, I haven't seen that for a very long time. What do you make of this result for the club? I mean, it's up and down, isn't it, with Man United these days?
I'd say with Man United, it's it's bottling. It's the semis or the quarters again. Like it's. I think with Ole, like I don't know what it is. He always gets a semi, but he never gets the full hard. Like So
Is that what
he never
you-
gets past the semi. He never gets past the semi stage. Right?
Okay, you're in,
I hate to know what his missus thinks.
He might, he might have lost today on purpose, because if you don't make it to a semi-final, you can't bottle it in the semi-final.
that's very true. That's very true. That hurts, but it's very true.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. For me, I think that he's if coming off of the Europa League win, I think that it's kind of like a neutral feeling. It must feel like for United fans. I can imagine, like, it's like a high and then a low, but it's not as much of a low as it is a high. I think beating AC Milan the way that she did, it kind of outweighs this loss.
Yeah, what is it, mate? Why can you get such a brilliant result against Milan, and then you got to play Leicester, who you have beaten recently in the league quite comfortably? They go and trounce you 3-1. Go on, then, Stephen. You got your hand up. You might as well go for it.
He keeps forgetting to renew his QuickFit membership for his bus. Ollie's at the wheel.
No, Stephen, the wheels on the bus have fell off, mate.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. He needs to keep going back to QuickFit.
Oh man, they're just dragging United today.
I'm so glad I'm not wearing my t-shirt today. I really am. I know I'm wearing red, but
No, unfortunately, I'm wearing mine for some reason. But there you go.
yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I support my team all the way through. Okay, look, let's talk about Arsenal then, Stephen, because you said you're in a misery today, but at least, like we said earlier, you got a fair point.
Fair. Well, West Ham should have probably buried it in the second half, to be honest. It should have been 4 or 5-2 before we even equalised. So, West Ham really bottled that, to be honest. Yeah, we did come back to a sense, but then that first 20 minutes, we shouldn't be in that situation in the first place, right? I mean, and then Mr. Arteta with his Lego brick gel hair, right, decides, I'm going to sit there at 3-0 and just sit there at 3-1. I'm just going to sit there like that. Not do nothing. Oh, wait, let's wait to the 80th minute till we bring the one player that could actually make a difference, Martinelli. Right, wait for the 80th minute. So this guy is like, oh my God, honestly. He doesn't change the system. He doesn't make substitutions. He's tactically inept. He can't see that Chambers is crap. You can't see that Xhaka's crap. You can't see that David Luiz is crap, right? And some of these players he wants to keep, by the way. Let's get this straight, right? And then we got some fans thinking, because we're going to keep these players, we're going to make top six and win the Europa League, right? Dream on. Right? It's more chance of me flying to Pluto and coming back.
His analogies on this is brilliant, isn't it, right, Eric?
I'm loving this.
I don't know what's worse. I don't know whether it's like me causing my health problems or it's the actual club.
God. Eric. Is it Eric? Is it the club that does the damage to people and their day to day? Arsenal could be. With Arsenal recently,
just by the way, can I just put this straight? It's not because I've been so depressed I've had to turn to alcohol to down the pain, right? Because I'm a liver disease patient. No. It's just general liver problems. I get so stressed it causes a blood clot, right?
Arsenal.
Go on, Eric. Fill in the Arsenal fans on a Chelsea perspective.
Oof. Right now, I'd say. I don't know who. I mean, what managers are even available right now? If you were to replace him, if you were to replace Arteta right now, who would your ideal manager be?
Benitez.
Rafa.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good shout, right?
Fair enough.
Champions Leagues kept Newcastle in the Premier League with a Championship side. He also won one of those Champions League with Liverpool when they were just scraping top 4.
Got us a Europa League when all hope was lost. Yeah, we
just came in halfway through the season. I think it was after you got rid of Di Matteo, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was coming off of our worst season, the next season in like a decade, something like that. And he brought us back to winning Europa League and top 4. Yeah, and the only reason that he didn't stay was because the fans didn't like him.
Don't know what to get.
That was it. He would have stayed if it was any other manager. He would have stayed because he did next.
That was because of Liverpool, right, Eric? Like that.
And like it was an interview that he had said, or something like he had said something about Chelsea fans or Chelsea or in general, and that he took a low dig at Chelsea, and Chelsea fans had whistled him, booed him. Like they did not like him at all. I mean, I was okay just because, it was Rafa, and I think that given the professionalism that he has, he could, if he's getting the job done, he's getting the job done. It doesn't matter what your track record is. If you come into the club and you do the job as the manager and you get the results, then you can stay. But the Chelsea fans didn't want him, and then the year after, that was the first time we brought Mourinho back. So the shout for Mourinho outweighed keeping Benitez, and we won the Premier League the next year. So it was, it worked out, but it was still one of those things that if we had kept Rafa, I wouldn't have been mad. So that's it's a good spot on in terms of a manager. Yeah, I could see him working well at a club like Arsenal.
Why can't we?
Fair enough.
You don't want Steve Bruce then, no, Stephen?
No, you're all right. I'll live.
Would you rather keep
He's doing the Bruce Lee chop on Newcastle in a minute.
What was that, Charlie?
Would you rather keep Arteta, Stephen?
And have Steve Bruce.
That's a question, actually.
I'd
rather take myself and do it for free.
I'm sure Arsenal would like that too.
No.
That's a good answer.
A lot of money.
Good answer.
Well, maybe if you feel like you could do a better job than
I can show
if it's going wrong, at least to try and change it, for God's sake. At least once.
I can show my achievements on Football Manager if you want, Stephen.
There you go. He's the new manager of Arsenal here.
Submits a resume. I'm good at this game.
Look, this is one of those. I've got no experience. So if that's the case, why didn't I put an application in? We've got no experience on the board level, so why didn't I get an application in for saying chief executive, please?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't know how the board worked, mate. I don't know why they didn't think of that.
I don't know how the board works. It's fucking Arsenal Football Club, for God's sake. They're in their own little world thinking we're going to win this in Leicester, my dog.
Everybody who's watching right now, thank you for watching. Please do hit the like button, smash it if you can. If it will play.
Smash it! Really helps us out. Thanks.
I don't know whether that's a good way to subscribe.
It's from a movie. It's okay.
By the way, like the content, but you might get your hammer smashed in. You might get your hands smashed in by
the process.
It's
initiation.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Put your hand down. Give it a smash.
Put your hand on, smash this.
More process than
Arteta more sense.
Do you think that's what Arteta's getting now in the background? Yeah, is that what it is?
That's how the staff deals with them. That's how management deals with Arteta when he doesn't get the result.
This is what he did with Granit Xhaka. I said, "I'll convince you to stay."
Oh man.
Okay, back to it then. Okay, right. Okay, right. So we're saying the
what
final.
He did to Ozil when he left the door.
Ozil?
Yeah, just give him a smack on the way out. No
violence is no violence upon players.
Violence, okay? By the way, no violence.
We don't approve
any violence.
We don't.
Say that. What's that, Charlie?
I'll try this at home, kids.
We don't approve. We don't approve any violence towards any humans on the planet.
Bloody agreed. I like that as well. Yeah, please don't.
Can we record that? Can we get that recorded?
Do not try this at home. Do not try this at home.
Let's probably pull that before the show starts.
So look, seriously, like going on to City, like we're talking like the quadruple. That does seem real. Yet again, like I think even maybe was it last season or season before they were in at this late stage. contending for a quadruple. Do you think they can actually do it?
Yeah.
And they want to do it. Do you think that is what they're focusing on, to actually win every single thing that they're in this season?
Yeah.
And they got Spurs in the final. I mean, how do you think that's going to go there, Charlie? Carabao Cup.
If we don't beat Spurs, it's embarrassing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that has happened before in the Carabao Cup, wasn't it? Chelsea, Eric, that lost to Tottenham that time.
I think it was Swansea.
What, in the final? Didn't you lose to?
No, we lost to Tottenham. We lost to Tottenham in penalties.
Oh, with Jonathan Woodgate, wasn't it, when he scored that goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way, Charlie. If you lose to Tottenham, you lose to a side that lost to a club that had a manager in prison.
Zagreb.
Oh, God.
That would be embarrassing.
Do you know the worst thing is, if Tottenham beat us, they've won more trophies than us.
Yeah, which is why
Really?
I say your club is still growing.
What? So you're on level right now, yeah?
He's on
Yeah,
26.
both got 26.
So it's a big game for Spurs anyway, you know, like
Just to stay relevant.
just to stay relevant, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's the relevant FA Cup.
Most of the chuckle out of this.
This is not a dig out Spurs TV channel, okay? Spurs fans are okay. You can come on if you want to and talk about Spurs, even though, like Stephen thinks they're not irrelevant right now.
When were they?
In the 50s. in the 50s now? In the 50s?
Oh,
yeah, in the 60s. Yeah.
Man.
Oh, well, when it was in black and white. Yeah, that's a good one.
Black and
You may
white
not know,
FC.
even England have won the World Cup since then.
That's true. They have. Yeah, that does make sense. So, all right, Tottenham are not relevant, but if you are a Tottenham fan, you are watching now, and you do want to come on, then write in the comments, and we'll let you on. Anybody else? Anybody got anything else to discuss about this weekend's games that have happened?
Going to the point about City, I mean, I can see them feasibly winning all 4 trophies. I mean, if there's one thing that Pep kind of goes in on and tries to focus on is winning as much as possible. If there's a manager that is in the world of football right now, who just has a competitive edge and just wants to win all the time, it's Pep. You see him do it. You've seen him do it at Barca. You've seen how he is behind the scenes with his team. The man's philosophy is win and win by as many goals as possible. And obviously, I mean, this year it's interesting because I think that you've got players who have just broken through, who have just been in exceptional form that you didn't see before. Like, I don't know where good against form came from, but the guy has just been literally one of the best players, not just in the Premier League, but in the world of football right now in terms of his form. You look at players like Foden, and Foden's been who's been enormous for them this year as well. But if De Bruyne snaps in Champions League, if he snaps in League, if he just snaps into the form that he plays in, and they've got those players in form, then yeah, it'll be good.
Welcome in, Charlie from Rio. How are you doing, mate? How is the weather out there, mate?
Charlie,
I'm doing good, man. Yo, nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. I'm doing good. I think Steven's laughing at my hat. I just couldn't possibly control my hair right now.
Jesus coming with a baseball cap. He's gone to his dad. There, check me out, Dad. Yeah, right.
Jesus didn't walk on water; he surfed. Okay. All right. Charlie, look, you've come in. We were talking a bit about Man City there. Like, we're talking about the quadruple as well. They're going for it. Do you think they got a good chance of getting the quadruple, mate, this year?
Mate, the only reason why I don't name City one of the favorites to win the Champions League every season is because they haven't yet. That's simply it. Because they're a great team. They've been one of the best teams in the world for a while now. So they should be one of the favorites, like, in every competition. Yeah, there's a good chance that happens, man. Like, with the exception of Bayern, I'm pretty confident City's the second best team in the world. I think they edge PSG, which in my opinion would probably be third. So yeah, it could happen, man. It could happen, and it would be really, really cool. But as I say all the time, like I have no problem with City. I just want them to do a little poor, just so that Pep leaves and manages Brazil. That's all I want in my life.
Screw that.
You don't want them to win the Carabao Cup, though, do you? Tottenham against City, Charlie. You don't want Spurs to beat City in the final, surely, being an Arsenal fan.
Dude, when it comes to Spurs in a final, nobody needs to want anything. We know they're gonna lose. Doesn't really make a difference.
Marley, like, I've still got to get you over here and teach you the North London derby, right? I know you live very far away and Spurs doesn't exist over there, right? But I need you to teach you the North London derby. Right?
Yeah.
I want
Here we go, Stephen.
That's gonna happen.
There's no sort of idea of like leave them on a cross or something, right? To just hang there. We want them destroyed completely, right? I know you've had a familiar experience, but
we've got a very special Spurs fan in the comments right now. Charles Muganuzzi is back again.
The quadruple. It's gone to a treble. It's gone to a double. This is a guy who's coming on my chat all the time saying Arsenal getting relegated. We're going to win the quadruple. Now it's gone to a treble and Arsenal staying in the league. Now it's gone to a double. Now it's just about a single.
I just want to know what league. I just want to know what league he's talking about.
No, this is what he thinks. He's this as a Tottenham fan, right? And now we're gonna just win the League Cup and stay above Arsenal now. How was Dynamo Zagreb, mate? Good trip.
I love Charles. I love Charles. I'm really glad to see him back. I hope he's happy to see me back as well, man. He makes me laugh. I like the guy.
Matt, I just want to say you have been knocked out the Champions League and the FA Cup, both by former City players.
Damn.
Was that my internet?
He came out of nowhere.
Thanks for that, Charlie.
Was it?
I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. Not.
What happened?
I just got abused by Charlie, basically. Thank you for that, Charlie. Thanks for reminding me.
Matt, you've just
I missed it.
Matt, can I just ask your honest opinion? Right, this is SVT TV. Matt, you've just been abused by a 14-year-old. How do you feel?
No comment. just like Ollie would say right now, no comment. Actually,
keep faith in Jose.
You know, there'll be Man United fans right now asking for Jose Mourinho to come back. I tell you.
What the fuck?
Yeah, see, look, he's happy to see you, Charlie.
Why are you believing in a manager that got beaten by a manager in prison?
Yes.
No, he used his one call from prison as a tactical analysis, halftime team talk.
I need an extra 15 minutes off of Marley, don't try and hide the hair. We know what it is.
So what we saying, guys, as well about the Premier League at the moment? Like, who do you think is going to win it? I'm pretty sure City are flying high right now, aren't they? And I don't think anyone's going to catch up to them. Leicester are doing very well as well. Arsenal, like we said today, like they could have got the points there, but West Ham, look, what they 3-0 up. You said, right? So it's impressive. I mean, it's still quite tight, isn't it? It wasn't this tight last season.
Can you explain to me, right, as the Arteta winner? Explain to me that, please.
Oh man.
Yeah, please.
Come on.
Explain what?
Confessions.
Explain what?
Confessions. On
Explain
your
what?
pasta, right?
Explain-
Giving the confession.
Oh, why I think
Right.
Arteta should.
Why? No. Why
Mate,
is Arteta conceding 3 goals
guys,
in 20
if-
minutes?
Charlie.
Mate, my honest answer for Arsenal this season, mate, is that we're cursed. I don't get it.
Oh,
Like for a long time, our defense was shit. Yo, you asked me, bruv. Let me speak now. For a long time, Arsenal's defense was the worst thing in the world. Like worse than hunger. It was just like the most depressing thing in the world. And for a minute there this season, we looked kind of solid. But at the same time, the best goal scorer in the Prem wasn't playing Aubameyang. Then we're back to scoring like a couple of goals. We're doing okay offensively. Then our defense is back to being shit. I honestly, man, and this is my opinion. I'm not saying it's an excuse. We've been shit. We need to be better because we're a great club. But we've been really unlucky, mate. I really feel that way. Arsenal's been really unlucky as well. We should be like 7th or 8th. I'm not saying we should be in 4th.
No.
But like in addition to being shit, I feel like we have been unlucky.
No, we deserve where we deserve to be.
Okay, yep. So,
We deserve where we deserve to be.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. It's just that I'm fed up with that. How many more excuses do you want to make for this manager? I mean, like, honestly, it's like it was never.
It's not an excuse, Stephen.
Yeah, but how many times have we sat there when
It's
Wenger
not an
was under
excuse.
control? I mean, I don't know. I didn't know you before, like, at the time of Wenger, but Wenger, I never made excuses for just being 4th. I don't accept this. Oh, for God's sake, Charles, wait.
Right, so Charles is saying that
Charles, it's Marie.
Carlos-
Charles, some teams aren't.
it's crazy.
You live
right?
up to
Carlos
my
finished-
expectations. You live
He
up
scored
to my
that hat trick in the FA Cup against Marine, who obviously very low.
Look, Charles, you just showed Spurs' level.
Charles, some teams aren't so shit to be playing Marine.
Eric, like you, you take an interest in the Liga. How is it at the moment with Messi in Barcelona? And do you think he might leave? Do you think he's going to go?
I think he's set for City, and I think they're going to throw a contract at him involving an MLS franchise at him, either there or Beckham will pick him up. I think he has the choice between Inter Miami and MLS or some kind of franchise deal to where he get lured over. I don't think he's done playing at a top level necessarily. I mean, you see him, he's still La Liga's top goal scorer. So I think until he kind of leaves that throne, he's still going to keep the door open at playing at a top team. So I'm not 100% sure. What it looked like it was going to be was a reunion with City. PSG, I know we're on the tables, but with trying to link it back up with Neymar, I mean, he has his options to weigh up. I can't tell you right now where he will go. Before I really did think that it was City, but it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. He's it's Lionel Messi, it's him and Cristiano Ronaldo that are at the helm of football, and any club would be happy to have a player like him. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting kind of setup for summer, because I don't think that he's going to be in a Barcelona shirt next year. I really don't.
Would you agree with that, guys? Anyone want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I do. It's actually interesting because I always thought that Lionel Messi was either going to play his entire career in Barcelona or he would go back to Argentina towards the end of his career. And that was something that was mentioned quite frequently, right? I think he's an Estudiantes fan. I think that's the city he's from or the region he's from. And I thought that was going to happen at some point, but now it's not spoken of anymore. Like, I don't see any chance of him going back to Argentina, which would be so cool. So cool. Like, so cool. I know the U.S. is very attractive. It's the country I want to live in at some point, but it's like, football-wise, Argentina is still, like, miles ahead of the U.S., right? Of the MLS. and it's probably more competitive than the French league as well. I feel like if he's up for a challenge, that would be the best place to go. Of course, they're not going to pay him properly. It's just more challenges for him to overcome.
Would you agree with that, Stephen?
I'm done.
Yeah, look,
It'll play itself out.
Barcelona need money. Like, they're broke. They need money. Why do you think they looked at Arteta for to replace Koeman? Like, it's either a PR stunt, right, to make Arteta look good,
Because he's
right,
good.
or it's don't start. Right, don't start. Right? I'll come over there to Brazil and teach you myself. Right?
Sorry, I'm late, Matt. I was on
that was a good one.
I was on Niall's channel. I said I'd go on. He asked me before.
That's okay,
And,
mate.
Yeah, I couldn't let him down. So,
No, he was drowning his sorrows.
oh mate, that was
It was crying in the shower.
Hey, Charlie, I know where you live. Don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just
Ouch,
like the 14
okay, well,
I want to know how you know where I live, mate.
Let's not get onto that. Let's not bring that on. I don't want to know.
Oh,
as well as
man.
in charge of all my thumbnails and intros, he's a secret head agent of the FBI.
Yeah, man. I'm what do you call it? I'm
Does anyone have Charlie's parents' numbers here?
anyone have what? Sorry.
I do.
Does it-
I have my parents' numbers.
Does anyone have Charlie's parents' numbers?
Oh yeah.
Talk. How are you feeling
We
about
need to reach out to
the Man? How are you feeling about the Man United game today, mate?
Yeah, obviously disappointed and deflated, but again,
Hello,
you know,
this is Charlie
there are.
Tapp. He's been very abusive on United TV.
Hold on, Steve. Hold on.
Straight away.
There were some good things to take out of it. The fact that Ollie did actually start with something different just to try and keep the squad happy, give everybody a chance. The fact that he did the 4 changes at once told me that was a great way of telling the players that he'd started, look, what the fuck are you doing? Pull your socks up. This is not good enough. To make 4 subs at once like that is like, as a player, that tells you everything you need to know. It's like, shit, okay.
He was worried, weren't he?
Of course he was. Well, not just worried, but he was also very disappointed in what they were doing. So it's give them a chance, because if they're impressing him in training, you can't consistently keep players out of the squad. You've got to keep them happy. We know that's part of the job. So he does that. So his retort to them for the bad performance is, I'm going to make 4 changes at once here, and that tells you you've not fucking been good enough. Get off. You're not good enough, right? Yeah. So I'm just hoping that this break now is going to give us time to regroup and focus on this the Europa League and the next league games, and keeping hold of that second spot, finishing as stronger as we possibly can.
You shouldn't be worried about ITV Granada reports.
What's that?
We got Granada, haven't we? Yeah, Granada's like a
Granada, yeah,
ITV, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to be. I don't see how because if we let that go, then there's serious questions need to be asked.
If you beat AC Milan and then lose to Granada, he's got to go.
Well, look, Eric might be able to fill us in on Granada. Like it's the first time in Europe, I believe, as well, right? So, how well have they been doing so far? And obviously, last season they clearly did over-exceed.
You want to talk about a team that has been on the rise? They've kind of just
Eric,
come out of nowhere.
Sorry, can you introduce me to Eric? I don't know the guy. I've never met the guy.
Talk. This is Eric. Eric, talk. Charlie.
Right.
Eric, everybody, this is Eric from Madrid/Sacramento, California, in the house.
Cool.
Chelsea
Who do you support?
Oh, shit. Nice, man. Nice.
You're a Chelsea fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right.
You can say Plastic Club. You can do all of it. Yeah, I've heard it all.
No. Listen.
No.
Eric,
Look, you got to give it to them.
thing.
The reason they've won everything in the last 15 years is not because they've been really good. It's because Abramovich works with the Russian mafia.
I've never won. Listen, Eric, let me say this. Let me say this, right, Eric?
We will let Russia.
Everybody, hang on.
Guys.
Guys,
One at a time.
let talk go for. Hang on, let talk
Sorry.
continue.
I'll say that I've always said this, and I will continue to say it. Money does not bring the amount of success that people think it does. Right? So I don't buy into that money game. It's about good management. It's about picking the right manager.
Stephen.
So, you can't. It's like with Pep Guardiola. Everybody talks about Pep Guardiola with the money of City, and you go, okay, so has Pep Guardiola just managed to get all the right players all at the right time in one go? Bollocks.
I mean,
You have to still have a good manager. It's simple.
The reason
but-
that Chelsea have been so successful is because it's a mixture of being able to meet the demand while still being able to play the market well. The way that Chelsea redeveloped itself in terms of a club, it's not just about being a Premier League club, it's being a club that competes in European competitions, all the way from the sponsorships, because it's a market. It's not just an on-the-field game, it's an off-the-field game. And being able to build a team out of nothing, whether, the money comes in from one major owner or multiple major owners, and still being able to brand your team correctly, being able to build it. I mean, Chelsea's developed itself into one of the most successful academies in the last how many years? 10 years? I think the last decade we've been one of the top academies.
But my point is, look at
women's team is now an elite team. You've got, and then we're competing in. We've taken the framework of these big major clubs like Liverpool and United, who have been the dominant clubs. Arsenal have been the dominant clubs for the last, prior to the new Premier League, and we've just thrown money into it. And we put
I know what
money
you're saying.
we invest in it. Yeah.
But my point is that look at Lampard. Lampard brought the players in, didn't work. He couldn't manage it. He wasn't good enough. So what does Abramovich do? Right, Abramovich has gone and identified that it's Tuchel. He's brought Tuchel in, who's a good manager. So this is my point. So it's like with Pep Guardiola, he's a good manager. So you bring players in under a good manager, they will perform. So look how Tuchel's, look how he's turned it around.
Sure,
But I wouldn't say Lampard's
you spend
necessarily a
more
bad
money.
manager.
When you spend more money,
Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
when you spend more money, you're looking for better results as well. So of course, like Chelsea are gonna things they happen faster in there.
Yeah.
First of all, it's absolutely useless to make fun of Chelsea being buying their success. My man here's American, man. Now, the sports in there are owner based anyway, so he's used to it. But in addition to that, man, just answering you talk. The thing is, you look at all big five, right? All the five biggest leagues in the world, biggest leagues in Europe. You look at France, team that spent the most money, PSG won the most. Look at Italy, Juventus spent the most money, won the most. Germany, you don't even have to mention it. Spain, you have those two, and in England, Chelsea spent the most money, they won the most. So yeah, it is a money game, man. It's
Actually, Man City,
of course
Man
there's
City spend
their
the
team
most now.
United spends a lot of money and they spend poorly.
I mean, it gives us.
That's it. It depends on where you spend
What?
the money.
It does remind me of that time that Leicester won the league
Yo.
when they didn't spend a lot of money.
Yeah, of course you got to spend.
Of course.
Exactly. So
And
this is
that's
what I'm
why
getting at. It's
Premier
not
League
just.
is better.
It's
Yeah,
not
you
just
gotta
about
spend
money. That's what I was
more.
trying to get at. It's not just about the money. You do also have to have a decent manager in there who can deal with the players and get the players to do a job. And so all I was saying was I don't buy into it. It's all about the money. The money helps, but it's not all about the money.
No, I'm not saying it's all about
You
the
mentioned
money.
about the manager, but in the same token,
It's all about the
right, you pay so much. Is that Jesus trying to be with the times now? Is that the baseball cap, the music?
You wait behind there, Charlie.
You're
Mate.
doing a rap next, like Jay-Z.
Not you.
Right?
Continue, Stephen. Continue.
We'll call him
Continue.
JC. We'll call him Jay-Z.
What was you saying, Stephen?
Yeah, but what I was saying is, you also get the reason they brought Mourinho back, right? What did they do when they brought Mourinho back? They spent the money to bring him back. So it's not just about the players as well. It's also about the manager as well. You spend money on the manager.
Of course.
So,
But you look at
and I'm not complaining. But
Yeah.
I would if
Or,
Abramovich
yeah.
took over Arsenal right now and left for Chelsea, I would not mind one bit I will not moan a single minute.
And like it's difficult being a Chelsea fan because it's frustrating seeing how often we just rotate through managers. Like I was talking about earlier, where I think that it's the Premier League. You can't expect things to happen overnight. You can't expect a manager to necessarily get the job done his first year in, his second year in. Sometimes even it takes time for teams to develop and teams to actually establish themselves in the club. Like you look at where Chelsea's best years were, you look at where United's best years were, you look at where Arsenal's best years were, and those were teams that had established themselves. Those were teams that had meshed chemistry without having to use necessarily the philosophy of money and trying to pull teams in and bargain your way to win your league. You know what I mean? Those were teams. They continued to be strong forces throughout without having to make very many changes, and they did it for what 5, 6, 7 years at that helm. So it's like you look at today's standards where it's like, oh well, this person's the next player, so let's buy him kind of thing, or this is the next, and you see that rotating door, and it's the same thing with managers. So when you apply that same philosophy, you apply that to teams as well. It's a money ball game, and that's unfortunately what the sport's kind of come to, because it has mixed in with the market, but it's not turning back. It's not like it's going to go back and go and play by the rules that it used to be played by that we grew up on with the Premier League. Like for me, at least, like I grew up with the Premier League where it wasn't necessarily about money and it was about quality players. And it's evolved into a game where it's about money now. And it's like, how fast can you adapt to a league, and how many goals or how many clean sheets can you keep me? And you know what I mean? If that player's not doing it, boom, it's a chopping board. And it's unfortunate. And I'm not saying that I agree with it at all. I don't. Like I said, I like how it was back then, but seeing how it evolved in today's game, you kind of got to take what you're given. You know what I mean?
But it's Sky. Sorry, Charlie. It's Sky that has caused the money issue. Because if they wouldn't have done what they did and started injecting all the money, we wouldn't be talking about the kind of monies that we're talking about. So if you take that away, if you took out the money side of this, we would still be able to attract the greatest players around Europe. But then it does, like I said, it does then come back down to, can the manager manage them, keep them at it, keep them interested, So yeah, but no, carry on. Sorry, Charlie, I talked over you now, mate. Sorry.
I was going to ask Eric, do you think it was the right decision to let Lampard go?
For me, no. Just for my opinion, I think that yes, based on the results we're getting, it's obvious that Tuchel has rejuvenated the players and given them an injection. But I think that's kind of that happens. It's not something new. It's not a new philosophy for a new manager to step in and a team to do better. That's happened. That's where the saying "Oles at the wheel" kind of came from. Was when they all got to United and he rejuvenated the team. So it's not something that it's like a new philosophy for a new coach to come in and make an instant impact. And I'm not complaining, but what I'm saying is that somebody like Lampard, who kind of has a representation and is a Chelsea pillar, keep him around and let him continue. If you're not don't fire him, put him at assistant manager. Put him in a position to where he still has that connection with the team that he's kind of brought forward, especially with the academy, and what he's done with the academy players. I think that sacking him was too soon of a decision. It was too early, and I think that that's the harshness of the Premier League. Is that for me, like I said, it's not like he was losing and getting blown out of the water. It's not like these results were coming in. He was losing by 1 or 2 goals. It was, some of these came down to decisions on VAR, which has had God knows how many effects on how many games, how many points gained or lost this year, because it's messed with the game. It's completely evolved the game without having fans, and it's a fluke year. So to say that Frank Lampard was the wrong decision, or to say that it was so much pressure applied to it's a COVID year. You don't have fans, you don't have the VARs being introduced, and it wasn't like he was really doing a bad job. It was a dip in form, and I think that the harshness and the pressure that the press gave to Lampard and that leaked into the 12th man was the reason that he got fired. And I think it was unjust, but hey, I'm happy with Tuchel now. I'm not complaining about what the job being done right now, but for me, it was too soon.
What do you make of that, Bargav? To jump in there?
So for me, it's simple. I wish Arsenal had the courage to do what you guys did. I mean, I do consider Tuchel a top coach, and he's better than Arteta. He's better than Lampard. He was miles ahead of Ollie. So I think what you guys did was right. As far as like I think there's a bigger issue at play though, and I think this is a perfect stream to ask this question. What's like the role of Brexit in like the quality of like I know the new regulations are coming in. What's the role of that in like the quality of the Premier League going down though? And I hear like and from Marley, I hear like the Brazilian market for like players is I guess their route to the Prem is like very different, and I hear that's like a big reason like Edu is like in the job at Arsenal. Is that right?
How the hell is he in a job at Arsenal? Unbelievable.
What do you mean it's very different?
Like the route for Brazilian players into the Premier League.
Steven, you have got to acknowledge that Edu's done a good job at Arsenal, mate. And there's no going around it. Edu is not a problem at Arsenal
as a player, he did
whatsoever. Like how? What?
I mean, the only mistake he made is probably Willian, right? I mean, even if you count that as a mistake, the only mistake you would count.
Yeah.
Well,
but Edu's solid.
No, for me, Edu is solid actually. Even if Ozil comes out,
but just addressing
one at a time.
1 second.
Oh, so if Ozil comes out himself and says Edu was not professional,
Steven, it's pointless for us to talk about that.
Right.
Let me try to answer Bargav.
Hang on. I think Charlie, because you're obviously getting it the feedback a little bit later. I think Charlie, go first, and then let Bargav reply.
Yeah.
So he's getting it late.
Me, okay. Well, just trying to answer to addressing what Bargav was talking about. Man, if I wait.
No problems. Okay, Bargav, you go. You shoot.
No. I guess like Marley should answer that question because people were talking about like the path in for Brazilian players in the coming years. There's like it's a little bit different in terms of like homegrown, especially like the recruitment of them. Whereas like European players, they count under the it's a little bit complicated, but I think that's why I was asking Marley for this. But as far as like as far as what Eric said, like I know with the whole Lampard sacking, for me, I think like you guys made a really good decision actually because he is the.
Oh, what's going on, man? The world's internet just gone crap all over. What? Come on.
There's something weird's happened there. Would you agree with that talk?
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of what he said. I think at the end of.
But he said no, he was basically saying about
being a top coach.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say to Eric is to bear in mind the fact that Tuchel's coming. He's done well. He's come from Paris. Everything else, but we have to bear in mind that he's on a free ride here to the end of the season. He's not under any pressure to win anything. But what could happen is after the end of the season and when he goes into the window, he might only buy 1 or 2, maybe 3. But then when that mindset changes into, okay, now you have to. We're going to see a change, I think. We will see a change, and we will then see if Mr. Tuchel is the actual real article. You know, considering the way he puts himself across, the way he talks, how intelligent he is as a person, the fact that he speaks about, it's about 6 languages or something he speaks. He's very well read. He likes, I think he's into some philosophy and all kinds of stuff like that. He's a very clever bloke. So I should imagine that I think he probably will sort of carry it on. But I think what he needs to do is identify the correct players to let go, and which only, like I say, maximum 2 to bring in.
My only worry is that something happens and at any point Chelsea dips in form within the next couple seasons. Say he has a great season next year. Chelsea has no mercy, you know.
Of course.
This is why I say it was a bad decision to get rid of Lampard, because it's not about necessarily results. It's just the culture that we've been kind of have this rotating door that I'm tired of seeing. I'm tired of seeing managers getting sacked left and right. You know what I mean? I'd like to actually see us, no matter what the results, stick with the manager for a season. You know what I mean? Or maybe two, or allow for a team to actually grow and develop with the manager and form that chemistry, because that's what winning the league takes. I think that Lampard brought those players in and made those right transfer decisions. I have no complaints about Werner. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care how many goals that he's got this year or how little goals he's got. He's a workhorse. As long as he gets out there and he gives it 150% and continues to try, the goals will come. I'm not worried. Kai Havertz has been one of our most creative players in the attacking half, despite seeing the field as little as he has. I think Mateo Kovacic is one of those players that Lampard bought when he first got there. That's been one of our sleeper players. In terms of there was a stat that came out like that he hit across Europe ahead of Kevin De Bruyne, ahead of Mohamed Salah, the person who drove the ball into the attacking half the most out of any other player in Europe. You know what I mean? So you got these key players that Lampard brought in, Pulisic. You've got these guys who under Lampard, Abraham, Mount, all these players who really meshed into a team are continuing to mesh, obviously, under Tuchel. But I think with Lampard's philosophy, it was more about man management as well as building that team-rooted chemistry, because it represented Chelsea Football Club. I'm not saying Tuchel doesn't represent Chelsea Football Club, but if Tuchel doesn't perform the way he does next year, say we finish second and without a trophy, people are going to start calling for his head right off the bat.
I think that Lampard may have got that the wrong way around. I think he should have focused on getting the team doing what they were supposed to do on the pitch and let the team spirit and bond build itself up. But he could have obviously added to it and helped it along. But I think because that's what happens. You know, if you ever played a sport and you're a team sport, if you go out and you perform well as a team and you get a result after result after result, and it builds up something quite special. This is like going off topic slightly, but with Liverpool, you know, all that got collapsed when Van Dijk was injured, because that was the linchpin of it all. That was like obviously you could argue that it was Fabinho, but it was Van Dijk, you know, and it's like, whoa, you know, shit, what would we do now? And he got somebody else in his position, moving things about, and the trust has gone basically. So if trust is gone, your confidence goes in that player to do the job correctly.
But do you see people calling for Jurgen's head? You know what I mean? You see the difference? And I'm not saying that Lampard had won a Champions League, but Lampard has won a Champions League with Chelsea, and like he knows what it takes. And if anything that the players need to see, it's somebody who's actually been in those situations that these players won right in front of their face. And I'm not saying that his man management wasn't good, because it was. Going into Christmas, we were in first place by 5 points, and then we lost a dip of form where it was like 8 games that we struggled with like tie, loss, draw, a win in like one of those here and there, but we get to form. Every team dips in form at some point. You're talking about a young team, a very, very young team, and to play them in 3 competitions at once, the way that they were playing, the games that they were getting exposed to, this is the first time that some of these players have seen the Premier League at all and seen the demand that it takes. And that's one of the things that they've all said in interviews. The Premier League's a different monster than what they're used to. Timo Werner said, Kai Havertz said the other day, I have to get physically stronger. I have to get bigger, because he knows that the demand for the Premier League is just higher. And it's not to say that Kai Havertz is a bad player. Kai Havertz isn't getting the job done. No, but he knows that he has to change his game in order to adapt to a league. So when you've got a bunch of players who are still adapting to a league like this, it's a project. It's a project. So to cut off the head of the project, I just disagree with that philosophy. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not, like I said, I'm okay with Tuchel, but that was my take on it.
That's great credit to Tuchel, though, isn't it? Considering Taking that into account, that is great credit to Tuchel to be able to get into Havertz's head the way he has. Because what he's done here is he's individually got into each player's head and planted a plan of what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to do it, and then he's got in the middle of them all, and somehow magically, this is what great managers do. They kind of get into each individual player's head, then get in the middle and use some kind of invisible web that pulls the ball together. They don't even realise it themselves, and this is the art of great management. So I agree with what you said, mate. Yeah, 100%.
Guys, should we probably wrap it off now? We've been on for an hour. Just wanted your sorry, Charlie. Do you want to say one more thing before?
Nah, yeah, but it's a whole different discussion. Though it's just that
Oh, go on. I'll allow you, Charlie. Go on.
Thank you, man. It's just like I almost half the panel here has an American accent, so I wanted to touch on wanted to catch you guys' opinions as to what's gonna happen first: the U.S. winning a World Cup or England winning it again.
Oh, that's easy.
Don't make it personal.
No, say it how it is, man. Say it how
I'm
it is.
Brazilian. I don't need to be personal when I talk about this.
If we win it, seriously, if we win it, it's gonna be off of a dark horse run. England have such a strong youth on the up and coming, on the up and rising, that they can absolutely, similar to how France were coming up, they've got depth, and that's what it takes to win a World Cup. You need depth. And I'm not saying that America or the U.S. If England blows that with this generation, then you could say that if they don't get the job done, which given the track record, you've blown a few World Cups. I'm not gonna lie.
We've had a number.
You've had years where you've had the outlying best team in the world, and they came up short. I think that generation.
One of them, like 2006, for example, but the problem is now is that we've got such a strong side now. We've got Henderson, you've got Grealish, you've got Wan-Bissaka, you've got Sterling, Sancho, some of those players, and some of them not even over the age of 25, for example.
That's why I say they've got the depth to do it.
Yeah, and the thing is that we've got a manager who has literally got no idea how to take a penalty. Because last time we took a penalty, we got knocked out. Right, and the 2018 was good, but World Cup was good. But this guy, honestly, some of the performances we put in, I'm honestly, we should be better than this.
And that's where I say that US can be a dark horse, because we've got players that are sitting on a European contract, and all they're doing is exposing themselves to the natural game. And from what I've seen in terms of the talent that's come through and the talent that's developing in some of these places like Italy, like England, Germany, and there we're on the rise to creating a national team that can absolutely compete and can't be discounted to win a World Cup. I'm not saying that it's a guarantee. It's the World Cup, U.S. is still a growing, developing country, but in terms of the youth and how early we're putting these kids in and how well we're producing some of these players, we will have an elite, national team within the next 10 years. In my opinion.
I think so too. And it's funny because I'm looking at it, and it's probably the best generation of young American football players that I've seen
we've ever had.
And you're coming off the first World Cup in centuries that you missed, right? Yeah. So it's funny. It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Go ahead, Bargath. You were going to say something.
So if I do get into coaching, I might revise my answer. Because if the management is terrible, then I need to revise my answer to this. But I think by 2026, we'll have a deeper run than England.
I honestly I would put my money on the US in this topic. I think the US is gonna win.
Well, we need to find a cam, and I hope Balogun joins us. I think that's we need an attacking midfielder. Cool. We have some really good pieces. But I feel like the strategy side of things we do need to get. So if we can hire a top coach, That would be really nice too. So
if we were to get like somebody like a Mourinho or somebody like
oh yeah, hands down.
somebody of that caliber, doesn't necessarily have to be Jose, but somebody of that caliber, a former Premier League or major European club team coach in the national squad.
See, I feel like this is like England's like next 2 years are going to be very critical because you have like all this talent, but then the thing you guys always miss out on is putting it together in the big tournaments.
I think with the USA, I don't think there's any kind of lack of like quality in the players. I think it's more an understanding of the kind of mental side of the game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like athletically, we can compete with anybody. Athletically, we can compete with anybody because we have like really good facilities. But it's like the mental side of things and like the tactics and stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's lots of different facets. When you play football, there's so many, like, I know a player moving up a couple of yards or two players moving up a couple of yards, that you have to read that and you have to adapt and play accordingly to that. If you don't make the right decisions at the right time, this is why you then lose games. As we know, that's the simple rules of football. So for USA, they've got the players. We've seen some fantastic players come out of America over the years. There's no doubt about that. So I would say, Vivek, that if you get a coach in there who can make the players in the squad aware of when to try and move the ball forward and when not to, and just move it sideways and backwards when you really have to. But sideways is not such a bad thing in football. It's the backwards bit that gets you into trouble. If you move it sideways, you can. There's lots of things you can do when you move the ball sideways, depending on obviously the quality of the individuals who you're passing it to. If they're good enough to hold it up or gain a yard, once that ball's gone sideways, everybody's eyes go where the ball has gone, which then gives an opportunity. Everybody can just go, okay, here we go, bang. You move into empty space into between the lines. If that player's good enough, if you've squirted it out to on the left or the right, they can then make a pass, and before they know it, the opposition like, shit, wait a minute, whoa, and that's it. And then they try and get back into their shape. Doing so opens up more space. You then press forward even more, and you see great teams do that because they read like I said about the slight movements from oppositions. You know when and to do it, when not to do it. It is a tricky balancing act. But again, if you get like let me ask you this question: who would you say would be the perfect fit for the USA right now, if you could pick?
Honestly,
coach-wise. That's a hard one, isn't it? Sorry about
that. That's available right now.
I mean, for me, it's simple. It's like a Klopp or like Mourinho would be nice.
That's
ideally.
what I'm saying.
But I feel like they're gonna go like Portugal, or they're gonna go to like Portugal or Germany before coming.
But do you? Sorry.
Like Van Gaal would be actually kind of nice for like. I don't know if he'll take the job, but
do you have the players to play a 4-3-3?
Yeah, I mean we have Pulisic on the wings. We have Reina and McKenna in the
midfield. You got.
The thing is, if Balogun comes, I mean, I think he's because right now we are missing a striker.
You've got Josh Sargent. You've got McKennie in the midfield. You've got Jordan Morris, striker.
That Tyler Adams from Leipzig.
Tyler Adams. Timothy Way is on the wing.
And Dest is like the wing.
You've got DeAndre Yedlin at right back or left back. Who's our center?
Dest at right back.
Miazga's our center back. Who's our other center back?
I forgot his name actually. Center back's name.
Yeah, and then
it's decent talent. We just need we just need that coach to come in and iron out the finish off it. The one advantage the U.S.
Give
does
me like
have.
a Luis Felipe Scolari. Like, give me somebody who's gonna redefine the way that we play. Like, give European flair or something that's going to completely rejuvenate that team. Give me a coach that's gonna really, because the US there's a part of being a player from the US. When you go somewhere else, you're gonna have pressure that no other place is gonna give you, because you're always gonna be the underdog. You're always gonna be discounted, even though the sport is actually very, very ingrained in the culture, where it's we're never gonna have it in front of us like you. But there's a way that it's growing in the way that we pick up on any other sport. And the way that we watch any other sport, we understand the game.
Yeah.
Just
See,
as
that's
much.
why like a lot of your players decline after like they hit the prem.
Just
When
before
you think about it,
I just got to say this, Charles. Like, you're picking small points because your team's not relevant. It don't exist.
I don't know about
it's
that
not
one.
relevant. North London's red.
I
Go back. Like, Tottenham needs to go back in the caves. Go back to where they belong. Right, stay in our shadows. Right, and stay there. Right. Good night.
Oh, he's talking.
Bye.
Charlie, what
Come
was
back. Come back to me when you want something significant.
Charles is going after him.
And not the Audi Cup like you keep
Are you
saying.
guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit intermittent, Charlie, but yeah, we get you.
Yeah. I need to get something off my, because like, I can't let my new friend spend one more day thinking that Scolari is a solution for anything other than finishing the club. Mate, like, he was our manager for the 7-1, and this guy, like, I know he won a World Cup in 2002, and then did an actual, like, decent job with Portugal after that. But after that, man, it's gone downhill. I think he's managing a team in the second division now. I think he's managing Cruzeiro. And, like, he got the job to manage Brazil before we lost it up. Like, he got that job right after he got relegated with the team that had just won the Brazilian Cup.
Fair.
Was I?
Would you make a comment from Chris here, guys, Charlie as well? Might not happen, but USA can always try going for Joachim Low, who's leaving Germany. I think that's a good pick.
The only problem is that we tried that with Klinsmann.
Yeah,
we tried that with Klinsmann, and the problem is that the U.S. mentality is we want somebody who is either going to be who we can either worship on the same level as Beckham, or because if somebody like Lowe comes in and nobody knows who he is, people are going, we don't want him. We want somebody we know. Or somebody American. Like, you know what I mean? That typical, like, we've got to have, so we got to go big, go home mentality. And that was a problem, is that Klinsmann was absolutely fit for the job. Klinsmann is, in terms of the tactician, but the problem was people hated the fact that they didn't know him and they weren't familiar with that. And the familiarity with it put pressure on him, and he didn't get the results. And you had aging players who ended up being lazy, but it was right coach, wrong time.
Agree with that, everybody?
Yeah, I think also the fact with Klinsmann is because the German league and the German national team and the way they play is so clinical and so like decision making. This is what I was going back to before. I think maybe Klinsmann also maybe might not have understood. Maybe I don't know that that side of the game wasn't quite at 100% like it might have had to have been, because I think under Klinsmann there was some really good performances, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult, like I said before, it's a difficult balancing act of getting that type of manager. But did we answer the question? I can't remember if we answered the question who you would want in. Did you say Mourinho? Or someone like Mourinho?
Mourinho, Klopp.
If it were any manager in the world, yeah, throw Pep in there. Give us Pep.
What would you take
for the U.S. manager?
Whoa!
Would you take Ancelotti? Would you take Carlo Ancelotti?
I would absolutely take Carlo Ancelotti.
Because I think
no.
I think that would be the perfect fit.
Absolutely.
You're forgetting.
I never actually considered that one, actually, but
I take David Moyes.
Go on, Steve.
I would take
one
David
thing,
Moyes.
when club management and international management are two completely different things.
But we
Right?
also need to learn how to be.
Yeah, but how many times have we seen either a club manager go to international manager or an international manager become a club manager and it fall apart? So many times. There's two different sides. You need a manager that can, because national management, you're having different players that play in different systems.
Deschamps,
Deschamps is like the perfect example.
There's a good example, but what I'm saying is that managers that can take players from different systems, right, and put them together to make a team are good international managers.
I mean,
because
Antonio
that's
Conte.
what is going to happen.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Conte.
players who are able to do it. Like, you're these coaches that are able to do both.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of coaches that can't do that, and there's a few that can.
Look, man, we didn't even qualify for the last World Cup. I'm taking anything. Just help.
I mean, in 4 or 5 years.
I'm just saying that Pep in club management is like one of the best in the world, but we've never seen.
Guarantee you make a difference for us.
Yeah.
In 4 or 5 years, I will be applying for that.
Do you guys know?
Job. So I'll let you guys know.
What's up, Charlie? Sorry, mate.
Because I do feel like if the tactics are off,
You guys know how many World Cups Brazil missed, right?
You've not Brazil missed World Cups. You've never missed any, have you?
No, we're the only ones that never missed any.
Didn't you get beat by North Korea though once?
Yeah, that was in the wasn't that in the 66 one?
Might have been Brazil. Yeah, it might not have been. Don't hold me on that. Don't hold me on that. But I don't think you made it. You didn't make it through the groups, did you? That was the only time you've never made it through the group stage.
No, they made it in Portugal again, which is about the semi-finals, quarterfinals.
No, but I mean, they never. That was the only time they never made it.
No, yeah, the only World Cup that didn't.
Listen, when we were talking the night, Marley, Charlie, about the
that's
Brazilian
1960. Football. That's 1966.
Yeah,
1966. The World Cup that you guys bought. That's the only one that Brazil got eliminated in the group stage.
With Brazil, I mean, it's like we were talking the other night about why I asked Charlie why are Brazil why is Brazil so fucking good? Why are they so good, man? Tell me. And we had a good conversation about that. They don't
play with boots, mate. They're barefoot. They know how to control the ball with their feet. And if you can do that,
it's not.
You can.
But it's also There's lots of different. Lots of different things in there. So when you're that good, when you are football, right? When you are football as individuals, right? When each player of that team is football, that is it. That's that player. They are football, right? Every aspect of what they do, you can take any aspect of any European league anywhere, and you can find it in that player. You'll find it. This is what I'm saying about they are football. So then it makes it easier to play a more simple game because you can use all of everything that you've got. It's just so easy for Brazil because they're just so fucking good, Marley. And I want to be Brazilian. Can you? Can I change? Come on.
You can. Come on, man. You want? You're okay. Eric, what was you going to say about that?
I wasn't going to say everything like it's true. I mean, I was watching the Pele documentary the other day, and everything's been, just the history with Brazil, the players they produced. It's simply like the nation. I think it's a gift that they've given to the sport itself with what they've been able to do as a national team. Because when you hear Brazil and you associate them with football and the magic we've been able to see some of the players produce, I mean, they were my inspirations. Myself were playing football were Brazilian. I mean, Ronaldinho and Ronaldo were literally the two pillars that made me fall in love with the sports. It's not very different. I agree. Something like a place where if you want to look for a footballer, you go to Brazil. If you want to go look and follow football.
I said the other night to Marley, I said, when I watch Ronaldinho, even now, it makes me feel like I've got superpowers. It's a crazy feeling that I get. I feel superhuman when I'm watching him. It's just unreal because the guy, I mean, he still is, because obviously he's still the same bloke. He's the same. He's the same
tell you what.
soul. He's the same personality. Obviously, he doesn't play anymore.
I'll tell you what.
Go on, sorry, Charlie.
If you hang out with Ronaldinho nowadays, you feel like a superhuman as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but Rise, like that brings up a good point, though. That brings up a good point, because I used to love like Kaká growing up, right?
Absolutely.
Like Kaká and Neymar, like that's like Brazilian football, like at a high level. For me, like if England actually lets its players express themselves a little bit more, I think you'd have better like national team experiences. I mean, nowadays, like in the Prem, like everything is stamped out. Like your refs have like mad authority, and they don't let anything go. And the yellow cards, the red. I mean, that really inhibits you guys, because once you get to the national tournaments, all these players that are playing with like creative freedom, they show up in the World Cup and they solve like the difficult games. You guys, it's like we're expected to win, and you walk in and just get smashed. Like that's like one of the big issues.
Who's that?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Like
I think it's to everyone. Yeah, but no, I mean, I just love watching that any of Brazil's performances, individuals. And if I put like Sergio Mendes on, or say with Matt Marley, but I put that on and listen and watch any of the football from Brazil, and I feel absolutely top of the world. And it's only then when I try and get up. I remember telling Marley that I tried to do in 2006 World Cup, when they had that video of doing the like you do a trick with the ball and you kick it out of shot and it goes into the next person's. All right, so I tried to recreate Ronaldinho's special little move. I can't remember what the name of it is. I nearly broke my fucking leg, and I was like, "What the? How do you fucking do it?" And I tried for days and days and days, and I couldn't get anywhere near it, man. And I nearly broke my leg trying to do it, mate. Honestly, it was crazy. Yeah, I just love Ronaldinho. I think he's just the most. For me, I think he is the most like skillful player I've ever witnessed, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Right, guys, should we end it off there? I just want to ask, maybe just before we end off, your predictions of the semi-finals of the FA Cup. So we've got Leicester versus Southampton. What do you think the result's going to be of that one? Let's go around. Let's start off with Charlie first, because you're a bit delayed. Charlie, what do you think the score will be?
Okay. I think Leicester is going to go.
Prediction?
Is that it?
Score prediction?
Oh, okay. 2-1.
Stephen?
Well, Leicester City. Just 2-0 Leicester to 1-up Charlie.
Okay. Charlie, number 3.
3-1 Leicester.
Okay. Eric?
4-1 Leicester.
Nice. Bargav?
I'm gonna go 2-1 Leicester, and it's the to play Man City.
Southampton, isn't it?
Yeah, Southampton, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 Southampton.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well, 2-1. Talk, what are you going to say?
Yeah, well, I don't want to draw it out, but I think that Southampton are a little bit well drilled under Hasselhoff on a whole. They've had their dips this season. We've seen it. But I think, given that and the way Leicester play, I think it will be a lot tighter than people think. And I would say, in the end, I'd probably just push Leicester to get a 1-0.
Okay, cool. And we've also got City versus Chelsea. Charlie, what do you think the result will be of that one?
Me?
Brazilian Charlie.
Okay.
First. No, he's still...
No. I think he's talking to me, Charlie Jr. So 2-0 City. Yeah.
Stephen?
Chelsea City. Don't give it your Bamiyang look to, like, for God's sake.
Loving the haircut, by the way, loving it.
Yeah, Charlie, right? I know you're a City fan, but
The Aubameyang look.
3-0 Chelsea.
3-0 Chelsea. Okay, nice. Charlie, number 3.
3-1 City.
Of course, you're going to say that, aren't you? Of course you were. You weren't going to say Chelsea, were you?
Another goal. How nice.
Oh my God.
Eric.
4-2 Chelsea.
Okay, nice. Gav.
2-1 City, extra time.
Okay. Cook.
It's just what I will say is this is going to be a juicy game in terms of tactics, in terms of
Just don't give us a score prediction. This is just get an intro. And
I know, but
do you want a thumbnail with that?
I can't even think. Turd. I can't even think.
Oh my, swag.
That's the first thing that came to mind. Sorry.
What sort of insult is that?
I don't know. It just I don't know.
Was it a good one or a bad one? Was it an odd one or was it a soft one?
Yeah, it was quite soft actually, if I remember. No, yeah, okay. Prediction. I just think I can't see Chelsea getting it over City. I think it'll be a cracking game, but I just think City are going to have the more of the control. I think they're going to have more of the control, and I think that will edge it. So again, I don't think it's going to be like a crazy high scoring game because both teams are going to want to win it, obviously. But so I'll just go maybe Man City like 1-0.
Okay, cool. I'm going to say penalties, Chelsea. I say it's going to go through and it's going to be Chelsea that just win it on penalties. I think Chelsea will scrape it all the way to the end and then do the job on that route. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you are there, please do smash the like button.
Really helps us out. Thanks. Smash it! Really helps us out.
Yeah, smash it, man.
Smash the like button, do what you can, and the subscribe button.
You've got to send me that.
I will, mate. Don't you worry. I got to get used to picking it properly and actually playing it. But,
Smash it!
Smash it.
The sunglasses.
looks like Jurgen Klopp, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
Smash it!
That's him smashing the door down to the FSG. I want more money. I want more money.
Yeah. You better get more money or they're going to be stumped.
Where's my
No doubt about
defenders?
Right, let's shout out where everybody can find you then. Let's get this done. Stephen, where can we find you, mate?
You can find me on SVT TV. There's also my Twitter feed if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to be on the shows. We do F1 football, do football F1 content, mainly following Arsenal for some reason. But yeah, also raising awareness and money for Children's Liver Disease Foundation and trying to get to 1,000 subs so we can monetize it and make all the donations to the charity as well. So get us to 1,000 subs and we'll get there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Stephen. Everyone go subscribe to SVT TV and help him raise money for liver awareness. And of course, you raise awareness about a lot of stuff as well. So well done for you doing that, mate. It is a really good thing, and I'm proud of you, bro.
Thanks.
Charlie, number 3, where can we find you, mate?
MCFC Hibs on Twitter and starting a new YouTube channel soon called Dugout Daily. Make sure you follow and subscribe to them.
Yes, go and do it, everybody. Go and check out Charlie, who probably will win the quadruple. So go check out the content because it's going to be, I'm pretty sure you're going to at least win 1, aren't you, out of the 4? So go check it out. Talk MU.
Yeah, you can find me on Stephen's channel, SVT TV, which is a fabulous channel, by the way. You can find me on this channel, as well, which is a fantastic channel as well. You can find me on Twitter at italkmu.
Brilliant. Cheers, Talk, mate. Thank you for coming along too. Thank you for the support as well. Bar, Gav, where can we find you?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. First of all, Eric, it's my first time seeing you. You should definitely link up at one point. You have some pretty sound opinions on U.S. soccer. You can find me on SFeetly TV, but I'm also probably going to start doing F1 streams a lot more, and going to start doing the gaming streams for the F1. We're just setting it up on a channel. Me and Mark Menu. The second thing is the juicy part. Can I get another Go Gators today by any chance? The last one was really nice.
Come on, then.
It's simply like right over left. My camera's not that great, but the Gator chomp. There you go.
What are you getting?
Can I get that?
No,
There's a big game tonight. So that's why.
I
It's a big game tonight.
Go get me over 800 subscribers with that, thank you.
What about you, Charlie, mate?
Yeah, can you give me a Gator chomp?
All right. Well, you can follow me at Marley Chillin, but mainly just Joseph channel here. You're gonna see a lot of me in here, Football United TV, and Steve channel as well. When he hits 2,000 bucks donation, I'll shave my hair live in his channel. So if you want to see that, make some donations and support this cause.
The only problem is I can't.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Glad to be back, and yeah, man, I'm not gonna spend the money to have you shave my hair. That would be too expensive. You know. Yeah, just support my friends. All I want.
Yeah, well said.
Brilliant. Cheers, Charlie. And last but not least, Eric, how can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Don Eric Pie. On there, Twitter handle. I'm not on Twitter as much, so hopefully I'll be popping up on some of you guys' channels soon, linking up with a few of you guys and giving some more sports analysis.
Yeah, cool. It's nice to meet you, mate. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on, Eric. Thank you so much. And everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much. Please do remember to smash the like button.
Really helps it.
Just had to do it one more time, eh?
I had to, didn't I? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Go subscribe, smash the like button as you just saw, and we'll see you again in the week,
Just
hopefully.
follow you,
We got a break now, haven't we, international? So maybe we'll do some international shows, talk about the European Championships that are coming up this summer, hopefully. And
We're covering all the England watch-alongs on my channel, sir.
that's it. Do it. Go check out SFeetly TV for that, for the coverage this summer. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a brilliant rest of your weekend. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.